Hello everyone, you are watching Wilson Waffling Live, episode 80, recorded Monday the 28th of November 2016. Let's just run titles. Hello. There was a bit of a problem there because I forgot that my iMac, which is over there, which is busy monitoring Facebook or trying to monitor Facebook, still had its volume turned up. So you might have heard a little bit of a feedback, and you'll be pleased to know that I think Periscope has sorted itself out. Because this time last week I had loads of viewers, and now I'm back down to a nice number 2. So thank you. Yeah, build my hopes up and just smash them. And we'll come to more of that later on in the show. You're listening to Wilson Waffling Live. This is a roundup of everything that's related to primary education, having a look at what's going on at the primary education course at YSJ, looking at the items that have been in the news for about primary education, and also I give you an idea, a little teaching idea as a little bonus at the end of the show. So please remember, you can, if you're watching this on Twitter, remember you can also go along to my Facebook page, Wilson Waffling Facebook, or you can watch it on Periscope. And do remember that it is also all the recordings from all the last shows are actually on YouTube, and you can find my YouTube channel at iWilsonYSJ. Just on YouTube, just search for it, or search for Wilson Waffling, everything comes up. 80 episodes. I really do not believe that I've done 80 of these. It's changed quite a bit, and hopefully the quality has changed. Probably not the face, but the quality has, I assure you. There was one point that I was very pixelated from beginning to end. So anyway, let's get on, because we only like to do this for half an hour and I tend to waffle. So first up, later on, we're going to have that little teaching idea for you. And then in the middle of today's show, we're going to have the website roundup. But first, we are going to have something that you all love and enjoy, because we are going to have that wonderful tweet of the week. So the tweets of the week is when I look back over the Twitter feed of a whole week, and see what the students at YSJ and myself and the tutors have been posting to the hashtag. Now, if you're not familiar with the hashtag, it's just zooming in here. Let's see if I can remember where to point. There it is. So it's just down there, and you can see it. My Twitter handle is at iWilsonYSJ, and you can follow the hashtag at hashtag YSJ Prime Ed, and it's PRIMED, all one way. It looks like primed. It looks like primed, but it looked really weird with 2 E's in it. So it's YSJ primed. Anyway, let's start off by having a look at what's been going on in primary ed this week. Well, first things first, it'll come across that way. There you go. I've disappeared. You can see that the first years are busy putting up their author displays once more. And I think this was group 3. And we had some wonderful, this is Lucy's display going up, and we had some wonderful displays going up in the English room. And I actually did notice that the English tutor commented how fantastic it was and said that they all look so good. So that was well done to all the first years who put up author displays this week. And all talking about English, yes, talking about English, this is Tom. And look, we've been making Christmas decorations. Now, just so you know, you might be thinking, well, hang on a minute, what's this got to do with English? Well, I think it was actually to do with instruction making. I think that's what it is. Or it might have been just art and design. But I think it's normally to do with instruction making. So some early Christmas decorations there going up on the 21st of November. Always a good time. Now, some of our students are still going out to placement. The first year's had a week of placement and they're going out every Thursday at the present moment in time. And you can see here that Bryony's been in placement and the Class 7's memory tree display. And I love the blue chains there for the branches. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Some lovely colours based on the memory tree there. So some lovely colours and a little memory on each of the leaves there. So that was fantastic. Now, in science, we've been doing something slightly different this week because we've been looking at chemical reactions, and what better way to look at chemical reactions than to make gingerbread people. Yeah, so here we are making gingerbread people, and we can see here's Amelia with her gingerbread in science. And don't worry, because there wasn't just gingerbread people. You can see here that we had stars as well, sort of like before and after there. Alison, love that we can go to uni to make gingerbread men or stars or people and get to ice them. So we were looking at chemical reactions and how the egg changes, the protein in the egg, and how the moisture is driven off by the heat, etc., etc. And we had a bit of DT as well. We had a bit of DT. Here's Tom back with his Twitter, but I think this was actually with Emily and Josh that they were making this, and they actually made, can you see the gingerbread house on the left there? That was very clever. It was sort of like done like a jigsaw piece that sort of like slotted into each other. So I was very impressed with that. I didn't think they were going to be able to do it, to be honest with you, but they actually did it. Unfortunately, the roof did have quite a little bit of an accident during the icing phase, and sadly it became a flat roof. It became a flat roof. And the other thing that I've been really impressed with is that I've noticed also how technology plays a really important part in the taking the pictures on Twitter. And we had this wonderful picture. This is actually from Amelia, who you saw tweet beforehand. And this is like a panoramic shot look of what's going on in the science room there. You can see me there having casual conversations by the ovens, which is absolutely lovely. And we split the groups in half when we're doing this, so you can see that there's plenty of room to get the icing, etc. done. Some lovely science displays up, which are part of the second year work there. And also I can just see that there's Wilson Waffling Radio playing in the background. So yeah, I look very domesticated there. You know, this week, great gingerbread men in science. Next week, Great British Bake Off. And just so you know, we have some lovely, kind students, because they even make gingerbread people that look like me. I'm on the left, by the way. The gingerbread person's on the right, just in case you were a bit confused there. So yes, so I got rather large eating so many gingerbread people. The other thing that I would like to tell you is that some of our students are currently away. They're doing the semester abroad. And so on our primary education blog, you can see there that we are having some blog posts from around the world. And a couple of weeks ago, we had one from Norway by Dan, who was telling us how he spent Freshers Week in Norway. And this week we have Olivia here talking about studying abroad in Salzburg, Austria, which is another fan pie. So if you would like to have a look at that, then I'll put the link below this video on YouTube, and you can see what's happening abroad there as they go away. Now, one final thing I did mention at the beginning of the show that last week I got so excited. But apparently there was a bug. I actually got really excited, and I went along to Periscope, and when I looked at Periscope, it actually said that I had, wait for it, 649 viewers. But sadly, it was a bug, and I didn't really have 649 viewers. I probably just had 2. But it was a bit of a letdown, but I was just grateful that I had 2. And I think that at the present moment in time is the end of the tweets of the week. Oh, I think I came in too early there. Anyway, remember, if you would like to follow us on Twitter, then the Twitter hashtag is down there, YSJ Prime Ed or Prim Ed or Primed, whatever you would like to say. And if you'd like to follow me, then my Twitter handle is down there as well, at iWilsonYSJ. Really lots going on Twitter at the moment, so make sure you come along and join us. Now then, we are going to head off. We're going to head off and have our second feature of the show, and this is when I've got to move you around a bit, so just hang on tight, because I just need to move you to the other screen, and I need to bring that over there, and I need to put you over there. There you go. Right, we are ready now. We are ready, and I might have to increase something slightly, but anyway, it is time now for the website roundup. Right, I'm back. Yeah, the website roundup. I don't hear that sound, and I can hear it, but if I listen to the tune, then you get dreadful feedback if I forget to turn it up. So this is when we have a look at some of the news items that have been in the on the BBC webpage across this week to do with primary education or education in general. So this is when I do a bit of a swap round. Because I'm going to shift over to one side, so bear with me. Here I go. There I am. So here's the first story that I've got for you. Let's make you nice and big so you can see it. So shocking figures. This was reported on the 25th of November. Shocking figures show a third of children behind at age 5. Okay, now, so This story stated that almost a third of children in England are behind in their development when they start primary school, according to official figures of 2016. Now, these are produced by the Department of Education Statistics, and it actually shows that pupils from poorer backgrounds are more likely to be lagging in their learning, literacy and numeracy levels. Of course, charities such as Save the Children call the figure shocking. But the government did state that it shows a continued rise in numbers meeting the expected standards. So although some of them are some of the poor children from poorer backgrounds are still going down or not meeting them, there is an increase in children who are meeting the expected level. It was really interesting here that the DFE figures published on Thursday show 31% of under 5s are not achieving good levels of development in fields such as communication and language, maths and social skills, and that was focused on around 200,000 early years children. And the figures showed here Only 52% of children eligible for free school meals reach the expected standard, compared with 70% of all other pupils and 67% of pupils overall. There was, of course, a gender gap as well, with the girls outdoing the boys. Yeah, so what do I think about this? Well, first of all, yes, it's very worrying that children under the age of 5 are starting education way below. It does make you wonder whether or not the education system might be wrong here, because if you look at schools such in Finland and Scandinavian countries, they actually start a lot later, and maybe that helps. I also wonder about, and my mum would say this all the time, about parenting skills. I know grandparents do wonderful jobs now, wonderful jobs, and like the picture here, good role playing happening. You know, the number of times I've sat drinking fake cup of teas, you know, with my younger brothers or nephews and nieces, so to speak. But, you know, there is a significant problem here, and they're sort of like saying children with poorer backgrounds, and even in the national curriculum it says, you know, that we want to narrow that gap. And I think, to me, we want to narrow the gap with all children no matter what. And I think it's good that, you know, more children are reaching the expected level, but I think there's also this possibility that we have to maybe consider whether or not this expected level is actually attainable by all children, and are we actually setting children up to fail right away from the beginning, even now before they've reached school, you know. And I think this is something that we have to consider. I think the other thing that worries me is that, are we having children who are starting school that then we say are not at this level, and then they continue to be not at that expected level? Some children progress or mature later on and make better progress, you know, as they mature and as they go through schools. Maybe we get them in too early. I don't know. But it is worrying. It is worrying. And I can see why the Save the Children are concerned about this. And what will happen remains to be seen, I just hope it's not just more testing. Now, on a positive, this headline came out: good and outstanding schools on the rise, Ofsted data shows. And this was reported on the 23rd of November. So here you can see the proportion of primary and secondary schools in England rated as good or outstanding has increased. Figures from the watchdog Ofsted show. So not the Ofsted show. The figures show that. Now, at the end of August, nearly 9 in 10, 89% of schools were at least good at their latest inspection, up 5%, 5 percentage points from last year's. Well done. Well done. It also goes on to say, just out of interest for all my secondary colleagues watching, that the gap between primary and secondary schools is widening, and Ofsted data shows 90% of primary schools are rated good or outstanding, compared to 78% of secondary school. Woo, 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 woo. Well done, primaries. Yeah, excellent. So I think this is a really good thing, and I'm not even going to pretend to suggest why this is happening, apart from the fact that I think, to me, there's huge communities in school working extremely hard to raise standards, to work on not just academic, but also on social, moral and interactions, and producing learning environments that are friendly and open and encouraged in the community and everything. So well done if you're one of those primaries or secondary schools that are moving up to good and outstanding. And if you're not there yet, don't you worry. You keep going. Keep doing the right things, because I'm sure you will get there eventually. And you never know, this time next year, maybe it'll say 100% of schools outstanding or good. And then Ofsted will probably have no job to do at all. Maybe that's how we can remove Ofsted from the area. That'd be interesting. Anyway, let's talk about fathers. Now, this was reported on the 23rd of November as well. And this is a very interesting story because it says, confident fathers have happier children, says a study. Now, I thought this was really interesting. And you can see from this little piece of data here that also nearly 500 people also thought it was interesting. So it says, confident fathers who embrace becoming a parent are less likely to have children who display behavioural issues before teenage years, a study says. The Oxford University research stresses the importance of a man's attitude to fatherhood soon after birth. This can influence later behaviour more than undertaking childcare and chores. The study assessed if fathers were confident with their child, formed a strong bond, and felt closer to their partner as a result of parenthood. Now then, this is really interesting because I have a bit of a problem here, okay, and I don't wish to sort of like diss the Oxford University research, and I'm sure there's really good research, but what about children who have no parent figure at all? So, what about people from single parent families, Now, I mean, I was from a single parent family and, I didn't have a confident father around. Quite the opposite, I would have thought. But I don't think that impacted on my behaviour negatively. And to me, I think the essential here is to do with good parenting and also being aware of moral standards and moral development and right and wrong and things like that. And also, I must say that I think happier children are also those children that have a very positive and very open mindset and a very confident mindset. And I think that links to mastery in mathematics in the sense that this can-do attitude. And I think that's really important. I think, confident parents probably, or fathers, do have an important part to play at Oxford University. But, however, I also think that being positive with children actually makes them happier as well and often gives them a very positive start in life. Right, on to the next story. And this look, you can guess what it's about. Yeah, you can guess what it's about. Teacher's pet Gatsby. The Dachshund starts at Twickenham Primary School. Okay, so this is a lovely little story because Gatsby the Dachshund is starting school. He's only 8 weeks old, but children at Twickenham Primary School have been very welcoming and they look at him. Oh, now the idea of this is that the school has this dachshund that comes in called Gatsby, as in the Great Gatsby, and they're actually hoping that it's going to teach the children moral and caring attitudes and looking after animals, but also social interaction and everything like that. So if a dog helps, then I think we should go for it. As long as I'm not having to take it home at the weekend, I'll pick up its poop, then, you go for it, guys. Now then, something not on primary education, but very close to primary education because I teach it. There was this news story came in this week. It says, shouldn't lectures be obsolete now? And this was talking about higher education where I work. And it's worth going and having a read of it. Really and truly it is. Go and have a read of it. But the more interesting thing about it is that go and watch or go and have a listen to my blog post that I wrote in response to it. And if you're interested in reading that or listening to it, because there is an audio version available, then just go along to wilsonwaffling.co.uk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, completes the website roundup. Yay! Oh, did you see me zoom in there? That was cool, wasn't it? I saw like game zooming in for the night. Right. Final little snippet. I'm keeping an eye on the time. I got 5 minutes. Because I tried to do these in half an hour just to keep everybody sort of like interested and watching. Thank you, Nicola, for your comment on Facebook. You love to see what's going on in placement. Yeah, well, tune back next week. We had, if you look back on the other shows, because when the first years were there for a long time, we did lots of tweets of the week on that. So this final part of the show, I like to give you a little something to sort of like use in the classroom and actually interact with. A little soda start of day activity for you. And I don't know whether or not you were listening to my Snuggle show on Wilson Waffling Radio. But this week I was saying that in Croatia, they have been looking in the caves and scientists have found thousands of new species, they think. And I thought, what a wonderful idea. What a wonderful idea for a starter. So I think I would say to the children, I brought a little graphic in. You'll see why in a second. What a wonderful thing to start off with that story and sort of like tell the kids that, you know, we've been underground and we've been searching for new creatures, and we've come up with a creature that we've never seen, an animal that we've never seen. And it might be a fish. It might be a fish, it might be a translucent snail or whatever, or it might be something completely weird like a 10-legged decapod that can spin a web or whatever. And I think it'd be a really nice thing for the starter of the day to actually get the children to draw what it looked like, okay? And also to give it a name, like a common name. So it might just be, you know, like this 10-legged web building slug eating animal might be called the web slugger or something like that, but also to give it a bit of a Latin name, you know, like Spiderus sluggerus or something like that. And I think that would be really interesting for the children, and you could have it up on the wall as well. You know, it might even go into art as well, you never know. But I thought, what a wonderful idea to sort of like pretend to imagine finding a brand new animal and what that would be like. So that could be a start of day activity, so like getting those thinking skills working in your head and becoming a little bit more imaginative for the children, which would be fantastic. So that is my start of the day activity for that this week. So we have come, I've got 2 minutes. I've gone 2 minutes. Everybody's fled from Periscope, which means I've been talking for too long. So I've got 2 minutes left. So I'd just like to finish off by giving you a quick update of everything. So don't forget that you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at iWilsonYSJ, and also follow the hashtag YSJPrimeEd. Don't forget also, I am live on Facebook. If you just search Facebook for the Wilson Waffling page, then you will find me there, and you can see everything that I post throughout the week, including this live show. You can also see me on Periscope. It'll be there, and all these shows are uploaded to YouTube, so you can go back and see how the show has progressed. There was actually, at one point, there was competitions on there that included draw something and everything. It was quite immense. It was quite immense, the show. Anyway, this is episode 80, so make sure you've got plenty of time, because there's 79 episodes apart from this one. So please do go back. I'm aiming for 100. 20 more and I'll be there. The first episode I ever did, I was actually telling elephant jokes for viewers. Yeah, that's how desperate I was. So do go back and have a look at them. Also, please remember that I do have my own radio station, Wilson Waffling Radio. If you search for it on Google, it comes up. It's up there at the top. And just to let you know, from the 1st of December, I will be playing, or my auto DJ will be playing Christmas songs 24/7. So please, apart from when live shows are on, so please do tune in and listen to them, because it would be lovely to have you around and have your company. So guys, it only remains for me to say how I usually finish off these shows. Thank you to everybody who's watched or listened in today, or who is watching the recording. I do appreciate your support, and thank you very much, and I hope you've enjoyed it and you've learnt something tonight. It only remains for me to say, have fun guys, and I'll catch you all later. And until then, consider yourself well and truly waffled. Have fun, guys. Bye.